Hey everybody, Metal Knight here, and today it's going to be episode 2 of Noobs Guide to League. This episode is going to be focused on laning and everything that you need to know about the basics of the game. So the first thing that I'd like to talk about is the map and the layout. So you're going to notice that each side has a nexus, which is this big thing in the middle. The other team has a purple nexus, we have a blue one. That nexus is surrounded by 2 turrets. These 2 turrets are the only turrets that actually heal in the game. Then there's the spawn, and this one's protected by a turret with infinite HP that does 1000 damage per second. This is so that the enemy doesn't walk into spawn. I'm quickly going to buy my stuff so I could start going to my lane as I keep explaining everything. After that, there is a inhibitor. This is if the enemy actually pushes into your base and destroys the inhibitor, it allows them to destroy your turrets, and it also makes that lane spawn stronger minions. And then there's 3 turrets on either side. So basically, to start off, you have to buy your items, and then you have to go to your lane. Bottom lane is normally 2 people, which is normally an AD carry and a support. For this lane, it's not going to be that. Then mid lane is usually a AP mid, which is an ability power champion. And then top is usually a tanky DPS, which is tanky damage per second. And then normally you have a jungler, but that's only in higher ELO. In lower ELO, like you're gonna see versus these bots, it's going to be two top and no jungler. And the importance of a jungler is that this person clears the jungle and then is able to actually gank lanes. So they have somebody that could give you some sort of advantage. Now to quickly talk about everything else, let's talk about the settings, because I know a lot of people have been asking me what my settings are. I'm just quickly going to show them. My video settings. One sec, I have to farm. So I'm going to go back, since I'm low HP, by using the B button, which is recall. And here you could buy your items again, and then you could use one of your summoner spells, which I chose teleport, to get back into lane quickly. Now my sound settings are these. I don't think that's too important. My interface settings, I have legacy skins off, if that matters. This is the one that most people are talking about. I have show line missile display as off, and which other ones am I talking about? Yeah, that's mainly the one that people usually wonder about, because what it does is that when you have summoner spells, when you have spells that are like a target spell, it doesn't show the line, but instead it's a circle showing you how far that spell could reach. I personally prefer it because it actually tells you how far your spell could go in any direction. This is very useful for champions like, for example, Corki, or even Frindamir, because of their jumps over walls. You could tell when you could jump over that wall. Now, once you're in lane, one of the most important things is farm. As you can see, I'm farming terribly. That's because I was trying to show you guys everything. And if you're 2v1 in a lane, another very important thing is to not push your lane, because the enemy will just deny you. So now I'm getting a gank from the jungler. And see, that was a very successful gank. Now, one misconception that many people get is that they do not consider a gank successful if they don't kill the opponent. But that's not true. You have to understand. If you aren't able to kill the opponent, that doesn't mean that your gank's not successful. Your gank is successful if you're able to make the opponent go back, because then you have farm on them, and you basically push them out of lane. So don't always go for kills. Try to go for pushing them out of lane. Kills are always nice though, but that shouldn't be your primary focus. Another thing to mention is, in a game like this where there's one person top on your team but two on the enemy team, as you can see by the jungler, he's taking their jungle, which is also a very smart thing to do. So see, now the thing about a 2v1 lane is that both these people are starting to get out-leveled by me. As you can see, I'm level 6 while they're still level 5 and 4. So that also gives me a considerable advantage. Another important thing to talk about is the fact of warding. Now, warding is very important in every lane, and I'm quickly just going to show you the places that you have to ward, or should ward. If you're top lane, then you should be warding around here. Or if you have more money, maybe ward here also, in this bush and here. This is basically to stop the enemy jungler from ganking. If they don't have an enemy jungler, then you don't absolutely need wards, but you need your team to talk a lot and make sure that everybody's in their lanes. If somebody goes missing, then you have to call it. So it's much better that you just ward, because usually teams won't talk. So another good place to ward for the AP mid is over here. Some people like to ward like around here, but I personally don't. You could also ward in this bush, and then on this side here, in this here or here. Warding your own jungle here is not a smart idea. Usually the enemy will ward here. Oops. And then the next thing is for dragon and baron control, you need to ward. Well, you should ward, not need to. One sec. Did he? Yeah, he died. As you can see, I keep going because maybe he could beat me, but I do have my jungler. Go get that kill. Go get that kill, jungler. Good job. That's another very important thing. If you are jungling, you should be giving, like, let's say he's jungling and he's going top. He should try not to take the kill and actually give it to me, simply because if he gets the kill, that's very nice. He now has extra gold. But if he gives me the kill, that's even better, because now I have some sort of lane advantage. I have 3 kills, so it didn't really matter since I'm already beating my lane, but it's very important if your lane is, if let's say mid's losing, yeah, mid's 0-1, he should try not to take the kill from mid and instead give it to mid. So let's keep talking about warding. Warding for Baron should be around here, so that you could see Baron. and you could know if somebody's doing it. And then warding for dragon is around here, and if you're bottom, you could ward either here, here, or if you're warding dragon here, you'd ward dragon here, and you'd also ward here to make sure that you don't get ganked. It's also very smart for you to ward as a support here and here in these bushes, because if it's warded here and here, usually what the jungler will do is he won't go by any of these routes, but will instead go by the lane, and that's usually how you end up getting caught. As you can see, the first turret got destroyed, and when a turret actually gets destroyed, you get 150 global gold. So it's very important to take down turrets, take dragons, things like that. Right now I'm moving down because I could see you could see my lanes push, so there's no point on me really being there unless I want to take the turret. But I don't really want to. I prefer to just actually help out my mid. So now what I'm doing is I'm pinging my team and telling them to come to dragon. Now dragon also gives global gold, about the same as a turret, so it's also very important for you to get, because dragons and turrets is what actually puts you ahead. There we go. An important note there, as a jungler, he did not have smite most likely, but if he did, he should smite it to kill it and not to damage it. It's a very important thing, because if he smites it to damage it, then it could get away. There's a chance that it gets away. Yeah. Very important dragon and turrets in this game because of the global gold. If your teams are very close, if you could see the score here and the kills, deaths, assists, minions killed, and the current time. If the teams are very close in score, the number one thing that actually changes that is turrets and dragons. So right now we are beating them very, very badly. Also, let's talk about the bottom GUI, or the user interface in general. The first thing that you'll notice is that there's champion icons on the left. Most people don't see this as very useful, but as a support player, this is one of the most useful things that you could have in the game. The reason being is if you're playing a support, let's say I'm playing a support right now, and let's say this is my heal, okay? I could go to this champion and click and then click heal on him, right? But the problem with that is that if he's grouped up in a team fight, you won't be able to number one, tell what his HP is, and number two, you won't be able to tell which one he is. And you're like, how won't I be able to tell who he is? He's playing that champion. It should be easy. It's not simply because when everybody's grouped up, you can't really tell. Right there, I came towards this way because I saw Soraka coming. So it was a good way to catch her off guard and actually finish her off. So the reason for this is, as you could see, I could tell, oh, Xin has this much HP, Katarina has this much HP, he has this much HP. And let's say this is my heal again. I could, instead of doing that and then switching to, and then going to the champion and then clicking on him, I could instead click on my heal and then click on their picture. And if I do have a heal, I click on their picture and then it'll actually heal that champion. So that's a very useful thing to know that not many people actually do know. The next thing I'd like to talk about is this here. The first thing you'll notice is the attack damage. Now, what's very important for a tanky DPS is to get some attack damage. As you can see, I have some. But also get items that give you either HP or armor or magic resistance. Those are very important. The next thing I'd like to talk... no, wait. Wait. There we go. So, I'm not bad right now. I need a bit more magic resistance and armor, but... Now I'm telling... See, this is the back ping, which there's two types of pings. There's the ping where you want to get their attention, and there's a back ping. And the difference between both is, usually you'll use this ping to say, let's go on this guy, let's attack this guy. And you'll use this ping to say, okay, we're gonna lose this fight, let's back off.
I will not rest.
So yeah, this is my skills, and we do want more armor and magic resistance. We want it generally above 100, and then a good amount of health and mana and things like that. Something important to talk about is health and mana. Some champions don't have mana. For example, Katarina, as you could see, her mana bar is empty. That means that she relies on cooldowns instead, or there's some other champions who rely on other things, but in general it's cooldowns, or maybe health. Some champions do rely on health as their way to use their spells, but those champions usually have some sort of heal. For example, Vladimir has a spell that relies on health, but he could also heal. So mana is very important, health is very important. Triple kill.
I will not rest.
Well, that's disappointing. So yeah, I think I've talked about everything that's neat. Uh-oh. Ah, stupid turret. I panicked. So yeah, I think I've talked about most of the basics. So if you want to join back, Michael, and you could give some tips and tricks. Michael is the jungler.
Well, I'm not super fancy at jungling, but I've done a pretty good job this game. 9-0 and 9-8, too bad.
Do you have any other tips and tricks to talk about to people who are just getting into League?
Not particularly. Just sort of help your team out. Try to cooperate as best you can with your team, because as soon as you start arguing with your teammates and whatnot, like, you're more likely than not to lose, or at least lose in team fights.
That is a very important thing. Try never to argue with your team. Try to be nice to them, even though it's completely their fault
Or
that you're losing.
Just
be nice, because here's an example. I was playing a ranked game, which is basically a game when you're level 30 where they actually count, like you gain and lose ELO. I was playing a game like that, and we had a Annie on our team who was basically 0 and like 24, and she was feeding the entire game. And the entire game, we were trying not to insult her because it looked like he was trying, but he was just having one of the worst games ever. So we were nice, and eventually we actually won that game. As shocking as that is, we won the game because we were able to feed our AD carry properly. So yeah, games are never over until they are actually over. That's also another
Things can
important
get turned around at the least likely of moments. We could go for Baron now.
Yeah, let's try Baron and let's explain Baron. 'Cause I
Yeah.
didn't explain Baron.
He may or may not into this, but we're both pretty fed, so
Alright,
okay.
so this is Baron. Baron is one of the things that you absolutely want late game. And the reason for that is because unlike Dragon, which is equal to 1 turret, Baron in global gold is equal to about 2 turrets.
300,
So that's very important. And not only that, but it gives you a significant buff which increases your armor. It increases your mana regen. It increases your mana regen, your ability power, and your what is it? Mana
Attack
regen.
damage, health regen, I think.
Yeah. Mana regen, ability power, and attack damage. One important note to know about Baron though is that he gives a debuff, which you can see, which lowers your attack damage.
Whew.
Good job.
Just barely.
So yeah, as you saw, we're 21 minutes in, and we were barely able to beat Baron with 2 people, and we're both very fed. So Baron is normally done with all 5 players of the team there, but you have to be very careful because most teams, when you're going for Baron, they'll know this because nobody's on the map anymore all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful about actually doing Baron. Usually people will do Baron if they kill the enemy team, and they know that they can't push 2 or 3 turrets right away. If they can, then usually they might just go for those turrets and then maybe try for Baron if they have time or not. So as you can see, this is the buff given by Baron. It gives you attack damage, ability power, health regen, and mana regen. So we forgot the health regen.
And one thing to note about Baron is that unlike Dragon, where if you attack it first, it will attack you only, Baron will attack the closest target to it. So if you're a tank, you want to be as close as you can to Baron so you can tank it for your team, so that your weakest guys in means of like tankiness won't be killed right away by Baron.
Yeah, this could also be used as a strategy for your team, because if let's say you attack Baron but run away and the enemy team's stuck attacking Baron, you're probably gonna win that team fight because of Baron's attack damage debuff. Because it actually lowers your attack damage by quite a significant amount. If the AD carry is stuck there, getting the debuff, they're most likely not going to win any team fight. So yeah, as you can now see with my items, it's gotten a bit later. My attack damage is a bit higher, but my armor and magic resist is also very high, and I do have a lot of health. That is extremely important, because what I basically want to do is, usually with the jungler, who is also pretty tanky, I want to go in there into a fight and basically cause a disruption in the team. Make the team that we're facing try to spread apart, or usually maybe group them together depending on if you have AoE ult or not. And once they're actually spread apart, let's say the AD carry is all alone now, we could actually kill him very easily. Do you want to go destroy that inhibitor?
Sure.
So we could show what you get if you destroy an inhibitor?
Sure, might as well.
Alright, so as you can see, I can't attack these turrets right now. But see, now I can attack these turrets.
Gone in too deep. Help me, my team. Oh.
Yeah. So see, unlike a normal team, unlike a normal lane will get a cannon minion every couple of rounds, which gives them 50% reduced damage to turrets, 89 attack, 39 armor, and 24 magic resist. These not only have significant more health, but they do more damage, and they also take less from turrets also. So they're actually extremely useful, and you do want them as soon as possible. Because now, no matter what, no matter how many minions the enemy team has, our lane is always going to outpush their lane because of these super minions.
Yep. So they really need their champions to
As you
actually
can see,
help defend it.
As you can see, look at how many hits it takes their champion to be for their champion to be able to kill it. A lot of hits compared to like 1 or 2 shots for everything else. So yeah, anything else you would like to put in?
Nope. Just play League of Legends. It's super fun.
This game is very addicting.
It is. Spent many hours playing this game.
I'm pretty sad that I died twice.
Yo. I'm pretty sad you died twice too.
Also a very good tip is actually when you start playing, go and play co-op AI beginner and then switch to co-op AI intermediate. And if you could go through an entire game and get a lot of kills and not die once, you know that you're pretty much set for normals. Like, you're gonna beat most normal players because most people don't know what they're doing at the beginning. Oh god, Michael. I'm gone. Bye, Michael.
Or are you gone? Oh, I'm in too deep.
I'll be back, I promise.
No.
God damn it, Michael.
Oh.
Oh god, he's gonna kill me!
Oh.
Michael!
It's okay.
Michael!
Soraka.
God damn it, Michael. Got my ass killed. Now you're gonna get your ass killed.
No, I'll just turn in their base. It's okay.
Let's show a couple more things. You do have these settings down here.
Mm-hmm.
Here's your general stats. Depending on what you want to do, you want to make sure that some stats are at a certain percentage or at a certain point. For example, if you're playing, who could I give an example for? Trying to think. Who can I give an example for? What could I give an example of stats for? Okay, let's say Darius. I do want to make sure that my armor and magic resistance are at certain points. I do want to make sure that my health or hit points are at certain place. And that's about it. Everything else is just cherry on the cake. Here you could also read their lore, which honestly I've never read the lore here, but I guess it's sort of useful because you could do it at the beginning of a game. Actually learn about your champions. Here you could read tips, but I really don't advise you to read tips here. I would more advise you to actually go on a professional site like Solo Mid and read tips there.
Woo. I'm gonna get killed.
Oh, you're still gonna get your ass kicked.
Never surrender. Never give up. Oh goodness. Run away.
Yeah, so this purple thing, what it is it's the active of my Maw of Malmortius, which basically, if I get a magic attack, I'll get a 400 hit point spell shield, but it only works for spells. I'm dead again. I should really stop playing like a derp and actually play seriously.
Yo.
Anyways, I didn't even notice both their turrets are gone, and their inhibitors are gone. So what this means is that their nexus is now exposed, and once we kill their nexus, we win the game. Yep, that's the end of the game. So I hope you guys have learned a bit from this episode, even though it wasn't as good as I had hoped. I still think we showed a lot, right? And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Episode 3 will basically be about jungling. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.
Toodles.